Pythagoras, famous for his discovery of the Pythagorean theorem, also made a religion. This religion was different because it worshipped numbers instead of gods. Though Pythagoras made the claim he was descended from the god Apollo. Another claim he made was that people were reincarnated, that he could remember his past lives. The religion believed that the only way out of this reincarnation cycle was to become very knowledgeable. They did this through their study of numbers. They had many beliefs about numbers and loved classifying them. They had different categories for numbers, such as square or oblong, male or female, light or dark, and different rules about what a number must be to fit into these categories. For example, square numbers are made by having an odd number of an object and then surrounding it with the next odd number. So in this case you have 1, then surround it with 3. Then it's a square. And then the sum of all the objects in the square would make a square number. So in this case 4 is a square number. And then oblong numbers are the same thing but with even numbers. So you start with 2, then surround it with 4. Doing this creates a rectangle and the sum of all the objects is an oblong number. It also does something similar with triangles. Starting with 3 objects, put 1 in between the objects of the previous level, then 1 on the outside. The sum of the objects gives you a triangular number. The triangular number they loved the most was 10 because it was the sum of 1, 2, 3, and 4. The fact that the first 4 numbers added to 10, which has a lot of special properties, is what made them love it. The Brotherhood also made many discoveries such as irrational numbers and musical intervals. Pythagoras did not like irrational numbers because they conflicted with his view that the universe could be expressed in whole numbers. He made everyone in the group take a vow of secrecy to not mention them, and he may have even killed someone who mentioned them at one of their meetings. The group made discoveries about musical intervals of octaves, fifths, and fourths. An octave has a ratio of 2 to 1, which means that it is vibrating twice as compared to previously only vibrating once. It splits the original note in half and causes it to be higher at the same pitch. A fifth has a 3 to 2 ratio, meaning it vibrates 3 times compared to the 2 times of an octave. A fourth has a 4 to 3 ratio and vibrates 4 times. These ratios are used when tuning instruments. The notes are compared to each other and tuned to the ratio the musician wants. Cult placed an important emphasis on metaphysics. They noticed that a lot of things, but not everything, had a color, shape, and size. They believed the universe could exist without these 3 things, but that the universe cannot exist without numbers. They are obsessed with connecting the universe to numbers and assigning numbers to everything. A prominent belief they had with numbers was limited and unlimited numbers. Unlimited numbers were even numbers because they could be divided by 2 to eventually get to 1, which was the best number in their belief. And limited numbers were odd numbers because they could not be divided by 2 to get to 1. Within the structure of the Brotherhood, there are 2 types of members: esoteric and exoteric members. The esoteric members only knew what Pythagoras wanted them to, and the exoteric members were in the inner circle, got to be in on the discussions. It was a long road to become an exoteric member, which included a 5-year vow of silence. Within the exoteric members, there are 2 sects, the acousmatics and mathematics. The acousmatics follow the religious teachings of the Brotherhood, while the mathematics follow the mathematical beliefs of the Brotherhood. Both sects were very politically active, which led to the downfall of the Brotherhood. The exoteric members had great influence and power over the town they were in, and the people didn't like that, so they staged a coup, which led to the death of Pythagoras and many of the members. Many groups have tried to revive the religion, but all have failed, with many meeting the same fate as the original Brotherhood.